this is Leo from Weapon.R. We're installing an intake on a Toyota Tacoma today, and this is a 2023. This intake goes for the can fit onto the 2016 to 2023. So we're going to go ahead and start this install. All you're going to need is a flathead screwdriver, a 10mm socket, and just a little bit of ingenuity. So we're going to get ahead started on this. So first thing we're going to do is take off the engine cover. Just take that off, and that will review the rest of the intake system right here. So we're going to take this off, this clamp off, and this clamp right here. And there is a constant friction clamp right there. You can squeeze it and just move it off, and that's for the valve cover. It's the evap hose. It's right there. We took it off. Very simple. Just take this off, and this whole thing will come apart. So with my 10mm, we're going to go ahead and take that apart. It's loose. Go ahead and loosen that guy. Make sure that's loose. We can take this off. Okay, this is all loose. The electrical harness is still connected right there. The reason why I took it off first is it's on the bottom. All we need is a needle nose plier. So just go ahead and pop that off. There's my needle nose plier. You can just squeeze it. And it comes right off. There it goes. So now we're going to go ahead and take the air box off. But first we're going to disconnect the electrical connection. This is the mass airflow sensor. You squeeze it and pull up. It's a little hard today. So squeeze and pull up. A little harder than I thought. So we're going to go ahead and take the electrical connection off. It was a little bit hard earlier, so you just squeeze the top. You hear the snap. It'll basically unsnap. Go ahead and pull it off. We'll take the top of the airbox off. There it goes. We're going to unscrew this and put this onto the new air intake pipe. So we're going to take the rest of the box off first. We'll do that later. Take the air filter off. And we will need a 12 on the inside of the air box. So now we've got a 12mm. We're going to go ahead and take the rest of the air box off. There's 2 bolts on the inside. I don't know if you guys can see this, but we're going to go ahead and show you guys in a second. After we loosen these up, I'm going to show you which ones we're taking off. These are all loose now. So I want to show you where these 2 bolts are. Those 2 12s come out. Okay. And there's one more right here. There's a third one. 1, 2, and 3. You can see it. Zoom out. 1, 2, and 3. We'll take those 3 out. Okay, you can see the rest of the intake. There's the electrical connection. We're going to take the air box out. We're going to start putting the intake in, okay? So right now I'm going to take that last third one off. So they're all 3 loose, and they will just pop right out. 3, and it just pops right off. Okay, so now we got the air box off. We're going to start installing the intake. So we're going to take the first coupler and put it onto the throttle body here. Our clamps are 7mm, so we can use a 7mm socket, or you can use a flathead. For my ease of purpose, here's a flathead, or you can use a Phillips. I like to use a 8mm. It is 8mm, sorry. And I'll start it just a little bit. Get it onto the throttle body. So this 3-to-3 coupler we're putting on right now, we put it on the throttle body. We put the clamp on. Go ahead and tighten down the clamp. And then we're going to go with the second clamp and we're gonna put the intake pipe in. There's the second clamp, and we're gonna go ahead. Here's the pipe. We're gonna install the airflow sensor onto it now, just so it can just put it all in one. Very simple. It has two hex bolts that come with the kit. This is our stealth black intake pipe. And now we're going to take a Phillips and take the sensor out of the original airbox. So here's the original airbox. These two screws here, I'm going to pop them off. Make sure you don't lose them because they're really easy to fall out. Pop this off. Okay, you notice that there's a gasket around it. There's an O-ring gasket around there. Right there. So now we're going to put this onto the new intake system. It's a triangle shape. You just align the holes. Very simple. Just go ahead and wiggle the sensor down. The seal will sit. It's perfectly fit. The holes are perfectly fit. And then we're going to put these hex screws in and tighten them down. I can start them off by hand. So I'm gonna go grab a hex key and I'll be right back. Found my hex key. I'm gonna tighten these guys down. You don't need to super tighten them down, just nice and snug. So here's the sensor. This goes towards the air filter. This will go towards the intake. Go ahead and put this in. I will tighten it down just a little bit because we will reposition it a little bit later. We'll go ahead and put the evap hose and the valve cover back onto the intake. Pop it on. Use the original one. Put this clamp, push clamp, the squeeze clamp back on, and it's good. So now we're going to go ahead and put the filter on. First thing we're going to do is put the coupler onto the pipe. There's another 3 to 3 inch coupler with our clamp. Okay, now we have the filter. That goes on first. Air filter. Put that on. And we can tighten this up. Again, you do not need to He-Man this clamp or anything. It just needs to be nice and tight and nice and snug. You don't need to He-Man it. Now, put the connector back on. And now we're going to make a bracket to hold this up. So we like to use a universal bracket because a lot of people have different things in their way on their engine compartments and what have you. So what we have is a rubber bump stop. So it's like a shock absorber. Okay. Any one of these 10mm holes here we can use. So I choose the one that's closest to directly underneath the air filter. Just put it on. 10mm hole. You can just turn it on with your hand. Really easy. And just tighten it until it hits the bottom and it's tight. This hook part goes underneath the clamp. Okay, so what I'll usually do is measure this distance from the clamp down to the rubber bump stop. I'll grab a measuring tape and I will measure that. So I'll take a measuring tape and go from this bump stop, from the bottom of the air filter down to my bump stop, and that's about, it says 5 1/4 inch. So now you know that this needs to stand up 5 1/4 inches. So you'll bend this at 5 1/4 inches. Okay, so we'll go ahead and bend that and we'll be right back and show you what we did. Okay, so I'm back. I go ahead and did my 5 1/4 inch, bent it. Okay, and we'll have it just like this. Okay, so we can go ahead and loosen the clamp. We can go ahead and actually put the bolt and secure the bracket first. It comes with a spacer and a nut, and that is a 10 millimeter. And it's a locking type, so it'll stay in place when you lock it in and you screw it down. So it's easy enough for me to just use this 10 millimeter socket to start it, okay, and get it aligned to where I want it to be, and then I will use my socket wrench and go ahead and tighten it down. So now I'm just tightening the bracket down. Yep. So now I just want to show you how I had it tightened down. Okay, so we went ahead and bent the bracket. So there's the bracket, goes down. There's the bump stop, rubber bump stop. I tighten it down. This is now going to go underneath this clamp. Okay, so I bent that. So it's me a nice little bracket. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and tighten this up and show you guys. Okay, so I did a close-up now, close-up shot. I'm just going to go ahead and finish up the tightening of the bracket underneath the filter. So you can go ahead and loosen this one back up. Okay. And loosen it all the way up so we can grab that bracket right there. There's the bracket. Okay. Grab that bracket and tighten it back on. There you go. The guy's on there. We're gonna clean this up and throw the filter sticker on and show you guys a little demo of the sound of this guy on the car. So we're gonna go ahead and start this up right now. We'll give a little bit of gas. Yeah, so that sounded pretty good. So we're gonna go ahead and put the engine cover back on, finish up this installation, and do a in-cabin drive. All right, everyone, so we're gonna do an in-cabin right now of the air intake system. So there we go. And now I'm gonna jump on it.